Hi guys, see you again on your favorite channel, Shania Studio. In this video we will discuss a sad and tragic story from Israel. How's the story? Let's get straight to the story. Growing up in a toxic environment is not easy. Moreover, the toxic environment comes from the family's own environment. A family can be said to be toxic if several family members hurt each other, both mentally and physically. Fear, depression and feeling insecure is a picture of the feelings felt by some people who live in the midst of a toxic environment. Henriette Kara is the only daughter of the couple Sami Kara and Alaham. Her father, 59-year-old Sami Kara, has a long criminal record, including intimidation crimes, property violations, trafficking to drug possession. Even though Henriette's father has many cases of breaking the law, Sami is a devout Christian. Following her family's beliefs, Henriette is also a Christian, while her mother is a housewife who works odd jobs every day, helping the family economy. In the daily life of the family, Henriette often gets violent from her father, who has a temper. Threats, beatings, slaps to harassment have become everyday things for Henriette. Living in such a toxic family, which prompted Henriette to seek happiness outside. Until one day, she decided to date a young Muslim, who is not known in detail about the identity of his girlfriend. Sami was so angry when he found out that his daughter was dating the Muslim youth. Sami forbids and opposes his daughter's love affair. His anger escalated after Sami found out the fact that his daughter's boyfriend was in prison. Sami then threatened and abused his daughter, demanding that his daughter, Henriette, end the relationship immediately. Just moments after the altercation, Henriette ran out of the house and left a message to her friend, that she had received death threats from her own father. Fearing her father, Henriette then decided to leave her house. Since then Henriette has been hiding from her family, from her friends' houses to her boyfriend's mother's house. After Henriette leaves the house, Sami calls all of his relatives, to tell his daughter is away from home. He asks his relatives for help to persuade Henriette to come back home. Heard the news, his uncle intervened directly. Tries to help Sami by meeting Henriette, who is at her boyfriend's mother's house. When he met his niece, Henriette was forced to go home. Even Henriette's girlfriend's mother was threatened by her uncle, if she still let Henriette stay there. But Henriette refuses to go home. After the argument, Henriette left her boyfriend's residence, then headed for her friend's house. Now when she was hiding at her friend's house, suddenly her parents and two friends came to force her to go home. Feeling uncomfortable with the incident, Henriette's friend decided to call the police, but when the police arrived, Henriette refused the help of the officers there, and refused to go home. Her parents and two uncles returned to their respective residences, without succeeding in bringing Henriette home, but who would have thought, at 2 a.m. returned to Henriette's friend's house with the aim of beating and threatening his daughter. Because the situation was getting louder, Henriette's friend finally called the police again, to report the incident. Then a few days after the incident, it was Henriette's mother's turn suddenly to come to her. Just like her father, her mother also attacked her so that Henriette would go home. But again Henriette refused to go home, annoyed with her family who even attacked her. As a result, Henriette reported her mother's attack to the police. As a result of many reports regarding Henriette and her family, finally on the 11th of June, 2017, the police tried to mediate their problems. Accompanied by social workers, Henriette was met with her parents to find solutions to their problems. At that meeting her parents tried to persuade her daughter to come back home. But again Henriette refused her parents' invitation. Still not finding a solution, social workers suggest Henriette to stay in a women's shelter. But the offer was turned down by Henriette, and she instead asked the welfare authorities to help them rent out an apartment for her. After a long discussion, Henriette still insisted that she didn't want to go home. Then at the end of the decision, Henriette chose to stay at her relative's house for a while, with an agreement that she will return home after attending her high school graduation party. But unfortunately, on the day she keeps her promise to return home, she does not receive a warm welcome, but instead a big disaster. 2 days passed, which was right on the day of her graduation, which was on the 13th of June, 2017. The afternoon before Henriette came to her graduation ceremony, she went to the post office to send $113 to her boyfriend who was in prison. After she returned to her relative's house, while preparing to go to her graduation place, Henriette told her relatives that she intended to follow the religion of her boyfriend, who would be out of prison in 1 week. After finishing dressing, then Henriette went to her high school to celebrate the graduation party. Unbeknownst to Henriette, it turns out that her relatives called Sami to inform him of her daughter's plan to convert to Islam. When Sami heard the news, he was furious and told the caller that he was going to kill Henriette. An angry Sami can't wait for Henriette's return. Sami has prepared a knife which he keeps in the back pocket of his pants. Henriette, who knew nothing about her father's anger, kept her promise after the graduation party was over. But when she got home, Henriette was not greeted well. Her father, who had been waiting, immediately scolded Henriette. Sami frankly opposes his daughter's decision, converts to Islam following her boyfriend. Fed up with her father's treatment, Henriette turned angry and refused to change her decision. And this heated situation, which made Sami very angry, he took out the knife he had prepared, then stabbed his own daughter in the neck 3 times. After he killed his daughter, Sami left the house to pick up his brother, then went to one of the beaches in the city of Bat Yam. No one knew what they were doing there. While Henriette's relatives are haunted by guilt for leaking Henriette's grand plan to her father. Worried that his plan to kill Henriette was carried out, Henriette's relatives immediately asked the police for help to check the condition of Sami's house. When they got there, the police tried to knock on the door, but no one responded. They then decided on Sami's house, which happened to be unlocked. Officers began to examine the front room, but found nothing suspicious. But when they entered the kitchen, to their surprise, they found Henriette's body lying on the kitchen floor covered in blood. When the girl's body was examined, her pulse was no longer beating, indicating that Henriette was dead. Due to the absence of witnesses and evidence at the scene, the police then investigated this case more deeply, to find out who the culprit was. Based on the results of the investigation, a CCTV footage was found around the crime scene, which showed Sami leaving his house, moments before Henriette was found dead. According to a report from Henriette's relative, Sami had previously told of his assassination plan against his own daughter. From there, the police named Sami as a suspect in the case of the murder of his daughter. That same day, after returning from the beach, Sami was immediately arrested by the police, but when interrogated, Sami did not cooperate in answering questions from the police. But even so, Sami admits that it was he who killed his only daughter. Meanwhile, Henriette's mother, Alaham, whose whereabouts were unknown at the time of the incident, was also interrogated by the police. Aliham revealed that her husband felt ashamed of his daughter's behavior, which was considered to have tarnished the good name and honor of the family. At that time Sami's trial process did not go smoothly, because the weapon in the form of a knife used to stab his daughter was not found. However, the clothes Sami was wearing were brought by investigators to be examined by the forensic team. From the results of the examination, Henriette's blood was found on one of his clothes. Although the main weapon has not yet been found, Sami has confessed to his actions to the police. So that finally in November 2021, Sami Kara was sentenced to life by a judge in the High Court of the city of Lod, Israel. Apart from being sentenced to life imprisonment, Sami was also required to pay a fine of 258,000 shekels. Incidents like this often happen in the city of Ramla, as well as the city of Lod, Israel, where Henriette lives. Responding to the news of Henriette's death, public opinion was divided into two camps, some were pro and some were con. About who is at fault in this incident. But whatever the reason, killing is a very cruel behavior, because by killing the victim's rights have been taken by force. So the perpetrators should receive the appropriate punishment. Until this is our story this time, hopefully we can get positive lessons from this story. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you are always connected to interesting stories from Shonya Studio. Thank you.